Hello, this is MP Cards and Games, and this is my goat duel. It's against one of my friends at locals. So yeah, we ended up doing a goat duel. We do some every now and then, but I decided to record it, and especially because I did a deck profile, and I actually didn't. The last goat deck profile, I actually recorded this not too much sooner after I'd done it, but I just had a few other issues, like I've been sick for the last few weeks, and then I've had a few other things that have made me busy, so yeah, I haven't been able to do much content, so I'm sorry about that one. So yeah, we're playing GOAT format. My opponent is playing Delinquent Duo on me, so that's a ban card in our modern format, but back then it was legal. Just to tell you that GOAT format was the format that was most of 2005 until like the second set of GX, so it was pretty much the end of the original era, and he made me discard a Scapegoat, and I forgot the other card, and he's summoning Xerion Universe, which is pretty good this format. I drew pretty well because if you draw Graceful Charity, that's really good. The top three cards in this format to draw are Delinquent Duo, Pot of Green, Graceful Charity. Then there's other good ones as well, like BLS. Um, but yeah, also if you're first, you start with 6 cards, or you draw the 6 card in your hand as well. Oh, he also Dust Tornado, a really good card of mine, Mirror Force, because in this format, Mirror Force was good back in the good old days. So I will take damage just because. Oh no, he didn't choose the Pierce. I'm pretty sure. No, he didn't choose the Pierce, but he could have. So my Spirit Reaper can't be destroyed by battle. But yeah, this is the second live duel I think I've done on the channel, and I'll just like to try it again to see if you guys like it. But yeah, I have got the life points up there, so he's on 7k, I'm on 8k. But yeah, GOAT's a really fun format, and if you haven't played it and you're getting sick of this format, I'd recommend you playing it, especially if you do get sick in the middle of a format of the game. So yeah, it's really nice, and I have done a deck profile. I've done two. One, I wouldn't recommend watching my older one just because it has a few off cards from the format, but I'd recommend watching my newer one. But I play a bigger version of the deck than what my mate does. I play what would usually be called a less than optimal version of a deck because it's like 50 something cards, but in this format you are prone to deck out. So it isn't the most terrible option. And I have actually won duels in this format because I've decked my opponent out. Just because there's so much like draw cards in this format, and Morphing Jar and Cyber Jar were legal. But as you see, I just used Vampire Lord, which was a not too bad of a tech this format. So you would use Vampire Lord to you'd usually declare spell, and the spell would have to go to their grave, but in this certain stance it wasn't so good because he sent Pot of Greed and then he flips the Magician of Faith to add it back, so that was a little bit of a misplay but by me, but it's still not absolutely terrible. It does deck thin him though, which is a bit annoying, but at least he's now got a weaker body on board, and sometimes with GOAT it can really swing and they can't extra link. Like here, I will lose my monsters since they're both zombie, and that's tribe infecting. So now I'll take damage because it's the battle phase. But my Vampire Lord will come back during my standby phase because every turn, if it's destroyed by a card effect, it comes back during the standby phase of my next turn. So yeah, I'm allowed to bring it back, and I bring Don's Salute on board, so he mirror forces me. This is actually not too far from game. If he summons something, it will be. I can't remember if he did because it's been a while since I've actually played this duel. But okay, he just switches to defense. Okay, he just pokes. Didn't really have anything. Oh, I played the call. And then I bring back Jinzo. So Jinzo's still pretty good this format. In this GOAT format, it's still really good. It wasn't as good as the previous format where there was more traps, but it's still really good against Sakaretsu Armors, Mirror Forces, Call by the Haunteds, dust tornadoes, like pretty much any trap this format. Okay, now he just tribe infectings during end phase, so I do lose it, but it does force it. Like he did discard Sinister, which is really good in this format. It when you discard, it doesn't really neg you because next turn you can just add it to your hand. Whenever it's sent to the grave, you can add it to your hand. That's its old effect, so you can't use it like its old effect these days because it's been errated. But in GOAT format, you use cards by their old effects, like Sangan, Ring of Distraction, Sinister Serpent, and I don't. There might have been one other card that's been errated from GOAT format that's been allowed. I don't think there has been though. But yeah, again, it's a really fun format. I'd recommend playing it if you are getting bored of this format. Even if you aren't, if you can get a few friends to play it with, it's really good, and it requires quite a bit of skill to play it correctly. And there's so many different decks. It's not we're both playing fairly standard GOAT, but there's beatdown, and there's chaos, and there's just pure zombie as well. So they're all variants in GOAT control format, which are fun to play with. Now I'm Morphing Jar. Not everyone runs this. It's a tech that I did run. He did just TT the board, but the Morphing Jar will still get its effect, and my Vampire Lord will come back the next turn, but Morphing Jar just makes everyone discard their hands and draw 5. So that's another reason why it's not too bad to play more cards in the format, because if you're both going through Morphing Jars and like your draw cards, you can end up definitely decking out. And I have done that more than once. It's surprising how many times I've decked out with the deck. Not me, I meant my opponents. But again, playing 40 cards isn't bad either. So I make the BLS. The BLS is the best monster of this, besides Thousand Eyes Restrict. It's the best monster of this format, and now I've just won. I did win this game, so now we're going on to game 2. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who wins, because again I can't quite remember. But yeah, I won that game, but you can see it was back and forth, because when he made the tribe infecting, I was actually very close to losing. And if he was able to make another monster on board, I would have lost. So that's the swing of this format. It's not just make a big Goki board, extra link, kill you, or rip your hand with Droll and Lock combo. It's a lot more back and forth, and if you hesitate to kill them, you can get killed back really easy by a BLS, or there's stuff like Lightning Vortex in the format. Again, tribe infecting. One other thing that I do forget to do a lot with Sinister Serpent in the grave in this format is I forget to add it back to my hand half the time, which isn't a good play to forget to add it back, but it does allow you to add it back every standby phase anyway. Okay, he discards he plays Graceful, which is a really good opening. He discards Metamorphosis and I can't remember, I think it's Dekoichi. And that Dekoichi just allows you, when it's flipped, to draw one, which wouldn't be that good, or wouldn't be good at all these days, but back then it was pretty good. And it was also not too bad to bait it out with Nobleman, which banishes a face-down monster. Okay, MST's my Scapegoat, which isn't a bad play. We all know that Scapegoat's good today, but even back then it was really good. You couldn't link with it, but you could Metamorphosis it to make 1,000 Eyes Restrict, which I don't think is in this duel. But it could be. But Thousand Eyes is a really good card. Now we're using Magical Merchant, which is just good because it allows you to deck thin and get some of your spells. And the best cards in your deck in GOAT format is pretty much your spells. So I think we're just deciding life points here, if memory serves me correct. Yeah, and he's just setting something before it's my turn. So yeah, I did get to add the Graceful, which is really good. And now I'm going to have to, I think I've got a hard discard decision. I had to discard the Metamorphosis, which would have been good if I'd still had the Scapegoat. So a Heavy Storm, which is really nice, and he can't Scapegoat because he already has 2 monsters on board. And now I go for, I think it's BLS. It's either it's BLS. So a really good card to make this format. So yeah, we've pretty much made our opponent lose most of their life points. But if he can get a tribe infecting, Thousand Eyes with like a Sinister Serpent, Metamorphosis with like Sinister Serpent, or Magician of Fate or a Mirror Force or a Sakuretsu armor, he could still come back from this. It's not that hard for him to come back from this. Yeah, he adds the Sinister, so but if he can't do anything now, he's probably dead next turn. Uh, but but yeah, no. Is he about to do a meta? Yeah, he's about to do Metamorphosis play. So Metamorphosis allows you to tribute a monster that's the same level and make a fusion monster from the extract. Yeah, this is the play he needed to make. Then I play Mirror Force, so yeah, I had the out to that, which that's why you do play stuff like Book of Moon and Tsukiyomi in this format against that Thousand Eyes, which is real. And then I attack with Spirit Reaper, which lowers his resources as well. Oh, and he had the Tribe Infecting, so he could have outed my BLS either way, which could have been really good. And I do see why he did take the BLS, but in hindsight, it probably would have been better for him to just Tribe Infecting. But yeah, now I knock him, which is that play. But knock banishes the face down monster, and it banishes all other copies in both players' decks of if it's a flip effect monster. So we both lose our Magician of Fates. So that's a really crucial card in this format because it adds back your spells, and like I've said before, spells are really important in GOAT format. So yeah, he could come back from this, but it's not much chance. Then I play Pot of Greed, so yeah, if I can summon another monster and that's not really a proper back row, I win. Yeah, I won the duel. But this is MP Cards and Games signing out, and hope you enjoyed the video.